How's it going, guys? I got a TCGO for you. I'm recording this in advance, so I'll probably be at work by the time this is uploaded. But I'd like to give special thanks to Quarter Turn for helping me figure out what to put in this deck just based off that comment. So I tweaked a couple things, took out Absol, realized that he doesn't really have much of a place in there because his attack is 2 energies. I still kind of want to consider putting Crobat in this deck, just because Crobat is fucking awesome in that sense, and it gives me more stuff to hurl. I'm not really too satisfied with Chinchino in it, but it does have its use, so I'm not really gonna complain about that too much. But Jump Left is awesome. I don't know. You'll see a couple of the tweaks I made to this deck, but Absol's gone. A lot of the other trainers and items, I suppose, that seem kind of useless, they're gone, and this is definitely a more refined version of it. I've been playing with this deck all day today, and I'm definitely positive for win-loss. That's for sure. But I don't know. I feel it's like for every 4 that I win, I lose 1, so that's not bad at all. But I'm playing against a guy by the name of spiritomb7. I have played this guy before. This guy's pretty fucking good. So if there's going to be a way to test out this deck, it's going to be now, just to see if it stacks up against, players that are good like him. So I'm going to go ahead and put down the Mew, and I'm not going to put down anything else. I do want to get something else in my hand just to be able to use Relicanth's ability, or attack. Relicanth's attack, I'm going to be referencing a lot. It's Prehistoric Wisdom. Now what that lets you do is it lets you put a card in the Lost Zone, and in return it lets you draw 3 cards. So with that in mind, I'm going to put a Relicanth into the Lost Zone, and what that does is it lets every Mew that I send out be able to do that, as well as powers up Dimensional Sphere a little bit more. So he's going to go ahead and do his thing, and it's here that we see what kind of deck he's running. He's running Borzone. I don't know if there's another name for that deck, but it's Emboar Magnezone. You just get a lot of energy onto the field and just everything. So that's kind of how that goes. What else have I tweaked in this deck? I put Black Belts. I've actually had about 2 or 3 people disconnect on me today just because of how off guard Black Belt caught them, and I don't know. It's really cool, but it operates only when you have more prize cards left than your opponent, aka when they have the lead. But it's like 4+ powers in 1 trainer card, and it saved me out of many binds today. But as you can see, I'm going to go ahead. I used the Level Ball in the last turn to get Jump Left into my hand. This is all just the hurling phase. I say hurling like it's hurl in the darkness, but it's not. I guess that's just kind of terminology stuck from the Lost World deck. But discard for the discard pile, hurl for the Lost Zone. That kind of makes sense to me. But he's going to go ahead and end out my hand. I don't really care too much. The other hand kind of sucked anyway. But I am also running 1/1 on Zoroark. I used to be running 2/2, I believe, but I took those out. And it's a little bit better this way, since foul play is kind of circumstantial. I did have a really cool play happen earlier, though. Guy, all he had out was a Cobalion, and I believe I had a Mew, and I'd Prehistoric Wisdom the Zoroark out previously. So I put a DCE on Mew, and what that let me do is it let me use Foul Play from the Lost Zone and use Iron Breaker on him until he died. And it was kind of this psychic double reach around, for those of you that get that reference, but it was pretty awesome. Let's see what we got going on. So going to put a Prism Energy on Mew, just because that's kind of the cool thing to have on there. I could probably stand to run less Prisms, or maybe more Pokemon that would benefit from Prisms. Either or, this is not final, but for what it's worth, it's been treating me really good today. This is probably one of my favorite decks to run by far because of this. And if there was a deck I could run in real life, it would probably be the Grass deck or this deck, because this deck is fucking cool. So, as you can see, I don't have any Pokemon to Prehistoric Wisdom, and it's preferred that you do that, so that way you can power up Dimensional Sphere. But if you don't, you can hurl any other card you want to, and that's fine too. It just feels like kind of a wasted turn, but you do get to draw 3, so there's a silver lining to that. Or, in reverse, there's a drawback to drawing 3 cards. With this, in this case, it's kind of reversed, just because I want those pokes in the Lost Zone. But as you can see, he's pretty much all set up. He's got the Emboar, he's got the 2 Magnezones. That means he's going to be able to magnetic pull twice a turn. And more often than not, the way that this pans out is it usually ends up getting a kill a turn. So you go through your deck really quickly with magnetic pull, And that's it, and you discard the fire energy, so that way you can just keep getting more with Emboar and that kind of stuff. But he catches in my Lucario because he recognizes it as a threat, just because Magnezone does happen to have the type weakness to it. And there are enough cards in the Lost Zone to the point where I can kill it off exactly. It would be 30, plus 20 more for each Pokemon in the Lost Zone. That brings it up to 70, times 2 is 140. Magnezone has 140 HP, which means that it would die to a Dimensional Sphere from a Lucario. Now that's important because from a Mew it would do 70 damage, and that's no bueno. But he's going to be able to take me out from there, and that gets him his first prize. Now this lets me use twins, so I'm not at all disappointed about this at all. This is going to let me get a few things going on. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do from here. And it was at this point in the game I was like, if I put a DCE on Zoroark and then I use Foul Play and then I discard that with Lost Burn, will the two energies count as 100 damage? Or will the one card count as 50 damage? I don't know that yet. What I don't know, well, as I mentioned, I don't know that yet. That's because that it only counts as 50 damage because it's just the energy card as opposed to anything else. So don't discard DCEs for Lost Burn. It is just a fucking waste. I really wish I'd have known this beforehand because this play kind of hurts me a little bit. It doesn't hurt me overall, but it does. It's probably one of the more stupid things I've done on accident without knowing, and now I'm a little bit wiser because of it, so that's kind of cool. I decided to cancel on Junk Rhyming just because I don't really need to do it at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for Foul Play and discard those two, and bam, 150, you're dead. And then it turns out it only does 100. I'm like, fuck, that really sucks. So he's still alive, and he's just going to go ahead and use his switch just in case he wants to change his mind in terms of going to something else later, like the other Magnezone, or if he just wants to, keep that thing asleep, or, put it to sleep, whatever. Pichu has that potential, and he ends me out. And I'm really grateful for that, just because the other hand really sucked. This hand is a lot better to me just because I do have Lucario going on. I have the Pokegear so I can use it to get an Oak. I have the Level Ball, and then I can just do other stuff. So it's just an all-around better hand. But as you can see, he's got a shit ton of energy on his side of the field, and he does have the potential to just KO things one after one after one. He only has to discard 2 fire energy every time, and he's good to go. So he is going to kill off my Zoroark right here. Zoroark didn't really get a whole lot of screen time. I'm looking to see when I can do that. Oh, thank you to Doused for the shiny Zoroark, by the way. That's not a normal Zoroark card. I believe that's a reprint, and I'm using it just because. So gonna put a Riolu, Lucario, and the Zoroark back into my deck just in case I do get the chance to Prehistoric Wisdom it off. Foul Play is pretty invaluable on Mew. So I believe I Level Ball, and then I get myself a Riolu. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a Professor Oak. That's the thing. So I think I try to put down a Riolu right now just as bait, just to see if he takes it. What else do I have going on? I can put I'm looking to see what's in the Lost Zone. Turns out that the only thing I can really use in terms of Mew using it is Jumpluff. Good and bad, because he does have his side of the field stocked up pretty well. Mine isn't stocked up too much, but I'm going to go ahead and go for the Professor Oak, and it turns out I draw into a catcher. So I can kill off the other Magnezone on the bench pretty freaking easily. Only need 50 damage to do it, and I believe I'll be doing a 90. Wait, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 90. So Mass Attack going to take it out, and then I'm trailing slightly behind in prizes, but I'm still putting up a good fight. So turns out I draw into another Riolu as my prize. Relicanth at this point is just kind of dead weight to me. It's just going to stay on the bench until he takes it out. I mean, he can use it to catch her up and then save a little bit of time or try to stall for a little bit of time for him. But as you can see, he's just kind of working his side of the field. He's got no issues whatsoever. The magnetic pull, bringing him back up to 6 cards once per turn. And then, the Emboar just putting down the energy. And he's also got, supporter cards to shuffle it out and then just look for said energy. So he shuffles out, and I believe he's going to put down some more fire energy this turn, if I'm not mistaken. But his Emboars are... I think one Emboar has 1 fire energy on it, but I don't want to catch him in just because he's probably got switches going on. So he takes out my Mew. I am going to go ahead and send in this Riolu, and I do have a Lucario, and I also have a DCE Well, I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get it with twins. So that was the plan. So let's go ahead and get that DCE. And turns out I do have one more on the left. I didn't know that right off the top of my head, but that might come in handy for later. So I decide, just to keep it in mind. There's not really much else I can do. I'm trying to decide what to get for the second fucking card. I'm like, okay, let's get Professor Oak because that's kind of cool. So DCE is going to go on that. 70 times 2 is 140. Going to kill off the Magnezone, and now the score is 4-3 in his favor, still slightly. But I do need to keep the offensive pressure up because now his Magnezones are gone for now, unless he's able to rare candy and get that one up. I believe he does. So he's going to go ahead and Junk Arm and I believe go for the Super Rod to put that stuff back into his deck. And he either A, has another Junk Arm or a rare candy sitting in there, or he shuffles out his hand. But I'm pretty damn sure he gets that Magnezone going on this turn. So this Lucario thing, kind of short-lived. But the fact that his side of the field, once again, being fully stocked in this manner, is still pretty good for Mew if I'm able to get him out. The field is surprisingly void of Mews, which is really, really weird, especially with this deck. I don't know, just in terms of decks that I play, Mew really, really, really likes being in this deck, like a lot, just because Pokemon have to be in the Lost Zone for Dimensional Sphere, and Mew's like, sup, that's my job. I work with stuff in there, so, I don't know, what do we got going on? He brings in Cleffa, and I don't think the Magnezone has enough energy. So as you can see, he does not attack me on this turn because he doesn't have enough energy to do any of this stuff. This lets me go on the offensive and tie it up, because what I can do is I can go for the Pokemon Collector, and this is where things are going to start to turn around for me, because I'm able to get all those Mews. You guys thought I wasn't going to get any Mews out. No, I got plenty. But I'm going to go for the catcher, bring in that Magnezone, and it turns out that my Lucario is still alive. He did not kill it off because he did not have enough energy going on. But just because there's two in there, Magnezone's gone. And he does have that other Magnemite down there. And as you can see in my hand, excuse me, I have two Junk Arms. So I can get catchers, and I can shuffle out my hand, that kind of thing. If I really had to Junk Arm out all those Mews, I think I'm running one Super Rod in this deck. One or two. Two seems like overkill, so I'm probably running one. But he's going to go for N, just to try to get into some late game, scrambling for card shenanigans. And we get Junk Arm, Mew, and a DCE. Now, I'm kind of stuck at a what I'm going to go ahead and do on this next turn. But turns out he's still asleep, or he stays asleep. And I'm going to go ahead and I believe, am I putting down that? No. So I have two cards I can Junk Arm out for, and I was like, maybe the DCE, and I was like, no. I might need to hang on to that for Relicanth. So I hang on to it, and I'm going to get myself the catcher, because as you can see, he just does not have enough energy. I don't know where it all went, but it's not working out for him. So nip the Magnezone in the bud as a Magnemite, and that's going to go ahead and take out that thing, and I'm now pulling slightly ahead in prizes. God forbid I actually do it against a deck of this caliber. It's not really anything top tier or anything like that, but I know the guy plays good, so I was slightly intimidated from the get-go. As you can see, if he tries to catch or something out just to stall for a little bit of time, I do have the DCE, which will definitely be enough for anything going on. And he's running kind of low on his deck. I don't know how many cards he has left, to be honest, but we'll check it out. He doesn't have any Magnezones going on. Those are his main form of offense. I think right now he's probably going to have to kick it into manual and then just go for Heat Crashes with Emboar, which is really energy inefficient just because it's 4 energy to do 80 damage. And there are just way better things you can do, like Jumpluff on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. 1 energy for a potential of 120. Talk about going green. So as you can see, he goes for the catcher there. And I'm really glad I did not discard that double colorless, just because, yeah, you can see. So turns out I drawn to a switch anyway, so I'm going to keep the fact that I have that double colorless a secret. So going to go ahead and go for the Dimensional Sphere right now, take out the Cleffa, and the score is 1-3 in my favor. Now, if I were to go for the N, I would only get 1 card. So I want to make sure that he gets a couple prizes first if I were to use it, if I were to need to use it. I don't know, it's going to kind of suck just because I don't have anything to bring out that Pichu, and that means I'm going to have to fucking take out an Emboar. But he ends for himself, and that kind of sucks just because I lost what I had, and now all I have is a crushing hammer, which I don't really end up using too much in this game, but in other games, I've just completely obliterated the field. Gonna go for the crushing hammer right now, just in hopes of taking out one of those energies, just in case he doesn't have another one in his hand. That kind of went south for me, and I don't think I put this energy down do I? Why did I do that? I don't get why I did that. Okay, I'm definitely hanging on to that, just in case he's gonna catch or something out. So, do 70 damage, and that's all I can do, which kind of sucks. So, what do we got going on? He takes it out, and then the score is 1-2. So things are getting pretty close. I'm going to send in Relicanth, and it turns out, look at what I fucking draw into. Holy shit! Draw myself into a Professor Oak. And I get great stuff from this. So I get Level Ball, which can, get me my Mew. I also have a Prism Energy to power up, Mew, so it's able to mass attack. And then I also have a Junk Arm just to discard whatever the fuck I want. And plus, I even have a Switch to get Relicanth out of that active spot. Holy crap, that was like the perfect endgame hand, just because everything is gone. Get myself a catcher, and Pichu is dead. So things were looking pretty bad for me at the beginning, but as you can see, I pulled through, and I'm able to clinch the 2-0 victory, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But Pichu's dead, and that's the game. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I really, really like this deck, and I hope you guys too. Do too. For those of you that said it, it's kind of gimmicky. As you can see, it does have its forms of offense, just, as long as there's no trainer lockup. God forbid I run into that sometime soon. That's a nightmare. Anyways, other than that, that's what we got going on. And if you guys enjoyed it, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. And I will be sure to record many more games with this, and by many I mean probably like 2 or 3, and then I'll go back into the old rotation or make a new deck. So expect to see this thing for like the next week or so, and we'll see what we got going on from there. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.